morning and welcome to another episode of Hard Factor. It is Wednesday, August 21st, and we've got a packed show today. First up, we've got an interview with Scott Pressler. He's the homosexual Trump supporter who is traveling the country cleaning up the streets. He's been setting the internet on fire recently, so we got him in for a nice little chat. And then after that, we're going to take it to a news buffet of other headlines. First up, Pat with a Trumpdate.
Yeah, baby. Trump's all over the map these days. And he must have gotten his Adderall refill yesterday because he was firing on all cylinders. And I'm not saying all the things he checked off his to-do list were good, per se.
You don't have to do the whole thing.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were jumping right
nope,
into it.
that's okay. What else do we have?
God damn it.
What else,
I'm
what,
cutting
what
the
else,
show
do,
tonight
what else do we
anyway,
have,
so
Will?
who cares?
Yeah, he had a busy little Tuesday. Also, Wes is going to tell us about his locks of the week on PredictIt, the Brexit edition. So
yeah, we're going to go through what's happening in Brexit.
Okay, welcome to the show, conservative
right, moving on to a little
activist,
Brexit.
a man who set the internet ablaze with the shell
I'm
going to do a little follow-up on the
political
Italian
pundit for
government,
pretty much
and then Mark will
every
take us
major
to the
news network
chemistry
out there at
corner,
this
and that'll
point.
be the news
Organizer
buffet.
of the
All right, let's take it
Clean
over
Up
to the
the
interview with
City
Scott
Street tour
Pressler.
that's going on, a really cool idea. Scott Pressler, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Well, thank you to the gentleman that took a picture of me at the Cincinnati airport that brought me on your show. Glad to be here.
Shout out to that psycho.
That's what happened.
Well, Scott, let's be honest. You were a thirst trap for photos with that laptop shell.
And those boots?
Come on.
Oh, well, that's why I do it, baby. I mean, come on. Well, the funniest thing is literally I'm sitting there at the airport, and somebody messages me on Twitter and says, Scott, you're all over Instagram on Barstool News. And I'm like, what? So I go on there, and literally I'm already on Instagram with my wonderful Murica boots on there proudly.
Yes.
And it's just really funny that I've caught people's attention, and it went viral instantly.
What did it say? What did it say on the
Let's get
laptop?
into that for people who didn't see it.
So my laptop, on the back of it, has a piece of paper that says, I'm gay, Trump 2020, Democrats don't own me.
Nice. Do you have an example of a Democrat owning you?
That will never happen because I'm still ready to defeat Elizabeth Warren in 2020.
Don't get graphic
Ooh.
on
Oh, it's not going to be Liz Warren,
So
Scott. Come on.
you like our friends at PredictIt, and the people gambling are thinking it might be Liz Warren.
I used to think it was going to be Kamala Harris. I really did. But after Tulsi Gabbard completely destroyed her in the last debate, I'm banking on Liz Warren being the nominee.
Also,
Yeah,
Tulsi
which
got
must-
activated and is now going to serve with her unit, which is probably not going to be good for her abilities to debate and campaign. You know what I mean?
But Scott, you must
No,
be
not at
happy about Liz Warren potentially getting the nomination, right? I mean, you feel like that would be a walk away for the Republicans, I'm assuming.
Oh, absolutely. Look, the Democrats are going so far left that Tulsi, even Amy Klobuchar, who I think is left, but compared to all of their candidates, is really quite centrist. And the Democrat Party, they're pushing all of these moderate Democrats out of the party. So please, I want them to put up Liz Warren or Bernie Sanders or Kamala Harris. Pick the most far-left candidate as humanly possible.
Wait a minute, Scott. You're saying that Bernie Sanders isn't a centrist? Come on.
No,
right.
Never.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
So let's talk about what you're doing. Will mentioned at the top of the show you're doing. What's it called? The Clean Up the Cities. What is the name of the program, and what are you doing?
I'm a conservative activist that is traveling across the country, teaching people how to register new voters. Now, while I'm traveling, I came out with a tweet the other day when President Trump was talking about Baltimore, and everybody was tweeting, but nobody was doing. So I said, hey, I'm going to go to Baltimore and pick up some trash. And I didn't realize what I was doing. I didn't understand that I had just unleashed the floodgates, and everybody from across the country wanted to help out. They said, Scott, what can I do to contribute? So we, on August 5th, got 170 volunteers to help pick up 12 tons of trash in 12 hours, and it took the nation by storm. People are still talking about it. I went on Dana Perino on Fox News today to tell them that we are going back to Baltimore City on September 9th. We're doing Los Angeles, California. We're doing Hartford,
Connecticut.
Scott, let me ask you.
Those are some cities with some
Can
trash.
you guys do my backyard?
Right.
'Cause
Yeah, so
I had a party there last week.
I'll do it.
Picking up trash is great, but this is like it's essentially like washing a guy's car that has no engine in it. You know what I mean? It's like, awesome, you're picking up trash, cool, but don't you think maybe there's some greater issues in the city of Baltimore than whether there's beer cans on the ground?
Are crackheads heavy?
Kev,
I do agree that we don't want to be a Band-Aid. And, in all lightheartedness, because this is the serious thing we're talking about. I talked to a grandma who said it's not safe for her grandbabies to play out there with the rats, with the needles, with the broken glass, with the abandoned buildings, with the violence. This is a serious issue. But I want to do?
Picking up the trash makes it nicer for sure. I mean, whether it's a Band-Aid or not, it at least improves things a little bit.
Property values specifically.
Sometimes people need a bit of love. People need to see that we do give a darn. When those 12 hours, we met so many of the locals who were thankful and grateful. So just sometimes you need to put a little bit of love out into the atmosphere.
do you have to have a MAGA hat or MAGA tattoo to join the cleanup crew?
No.
Okay.
People can wear their Liz Warren shirt if they want to.
Okay.
I want this to be Democrats, Libertarians, Republicans, Independents coming together just because we're all American.
Not socialists, though. But
Not socialists, though. No, the socialists are not welcome. No, I'm kidding. They can come if they want to help.
Only if everyone cleans up the exact same amount.
so
Yes, if somebody picks up too much, then we need to redistribute trash to their piles and make sure that everybody has an equal amount of trash.
Scott, I got a question for you. I think a lot of our listeners are asking this. So you don't see a lot of openly gay Trump supporters, and as you alluded to earlier, some of the things that are driving the traffic to you and your message and your platform are, was that viral photo, right?
Yeah.
Is it tough to date within the Republican Party as a gay man? It seemed like you wouldn't have a lot of options in there.
Well, shockingly, when I came out as gay, and this might be a little bit too much information.
Not on
but,
this show.
Oh, my gosh. No, the amount of men that started hitting on me as soon as I came out as gay. I mean, so no. I definitely am thankful for the amount of attention I'm getting from the male community. But I will say it does make it much more difficult when, I'm not looking for a whole lot. I just want somebody that's sane, stable, visionary. And also I'm 6'5", so, there has to be a kind of a height.
That's actually pretty.
Does that translate?
You actually have a pretty fine list there.
Maybe lay off the boot, Scott.
But I will say this, and I want to make this very clear to all of your listeners. I am a gay Trump supporter that has been embraced and welcomed by the Trump Christian community. And because of them, I have 331,000 followers. So I receive love. And
do you think gay marriage being legal now makes that acceptance easier?
I do. I really do.
Let's talk about Trump. He's had his differences, you could say, with the trans community, but it doesn't seem like he has a problem with the gay community. But what about Mike Pence? He seems like he might have a problem with
but
the gay
Pence doesn't want to shake your hand, right? You get that vibe from him? He seems like you might think you have cooties or something.
I've never met Mike Pence. I would love to meet the vice president and thank him for his work. But I will say President Trump did invite me to the social media summit at the White House.
Oh, there you go. Better than us. We
and
definitely didn't get invited.
Next time.
Did you make it? Did you make it to the summit?
I did. Yes, I was at the social media summit. And here's the best part. I got to ask the President of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, a question, and we locked eyes for 2.3 seconds.
Nice.
Love that. Well, Scott,
how tall is he?
Yeah, what do you think he weighs?
Yeah, how tall is he and what's his weight?
Well, let's see. I'm 6'5", and I'm give or take 185 pounds. He's a man of significant stature. I'd say he's probably 6'3", maybe
92.
20.
Yeah, I think the word you're looking for is girth instead of stature, and yeah, he's 300. But Scott, I got to ask you a question. So it's great that the Christian community has embraced you. That's fantastic. But you have to know that there's a large portion of the base, as they call it, that would not be down with your personal choices. How does that? How do you reconcile that supporting the Republican Party, knowing that there's an element that just don't get down on Scott?
Well, here's how I like to think about it, that don't get down on.
Versus all the dudes that have been getting down on you. Sounds like you've been busy. But the other guys.
Sorry, I couldn't. That kind of just reminds me of how they said "Go off, King" in the Instagram post. What does that mean? I don't know what "Go off."
It just means like express your views freely. That's what it means.
It's what you've been doing, Scott.
No. I love it. I'm going to start saying that to random people. Someone says hi to me at Starbucks. Go off, King. Here's how I respond. The Christian community may never bake me a cake for my wedding, but they're not going to throw me off of a building because because I was born homosexual. I respect their religious freedom, and I know that at the end of the day, they're going to respect my right to exist here freely in America, and I think we have that mutual understanding.
That's a very, very good thing.
Scott, real quick, I saw on your website that you'll be leading a Republican activism training course next week in Memphis, and one of the listed activities is a role-playing game that has to do with door knocking. And you also mentioned that you'll be talking about how to stop socialism in its tracks. And I was wondering if we could do one of those quick role-playing scenarios.
Right, so Pat's a socialist inside his house, and you're knocking on his door.
I'm an unregistered voter who's flirting with socialism. Go.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, you put me on the spot.
Hold on,
I
ready?
can't perform under pressure. I'm going to tell you a story because this is important, rather than try to do that role-playing, because usually if somebody doesn't agree, I just say, thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day. When I was door knocking for President Trump in a Democrat part of Virginia. So I'm out there. I have Gays for Trump on the back of my car because I use identity politics.
It's
This
a
woman comes
bumper
up to
sticker
me.
you made yourself.
Yes. And this was, I wrote on the back of my car in paint.
Nice.
I wrote on my windshield,
There you go.
Gays for Trump in paint. And she says, I have to come up to you and make sure that you're not faking being gay. And I was like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
And then she said, on top of that, I'm a big fan of abortion. So usually,
How
you would think
progressive
that-
of her to.
I know.
So she
to
was
do
trying
those
to
two
was she trying to
things.
get you to bang her,
But
knock
hey-
her up, and then she would have an abortion? I don't.
Well, she's entitled
Prove
to
it.
her opinion.
Yeah,
and-
how'd she
but
make
the thing
sure that
is-
you were gay? What was her tactic?
So I figured, you know what, Scott, take a moment to talk to her. Even though she seems like she's already made her choice, you need to give her a moment of your time. So I spent the next 15 minutes to her basically pouring my heart out, talking about how I just really believe in President Trump, and I'm out here volunteering, and I believe that he's the right man for jobs, safety, security, whatever. But the biggest thing is, so this woman that accosted me, questioned my being gay, and loves abortion, by the end of this 15 minutes, she said, you know what, I can tell your heart is in this. And she took my Donald Trump flyer and said, I'm going to give him a second look because of you.
Oh wow.
So the biggest thing is,
Changing
just
minds.
showing people that, changing hearts and minds by showing love. Love is our message.
That's fair. All right.
Last question. What's your stance on marijuana legalization?
Let's have a vote on it.
Let's do it.
Vote.
Scott, do you smoke?
Actually, I wanted to be a cop when I was younger. I wanted to be a Border Patrol agent, be a
Oh.
police officer.
You stayed away
So
from it.
I'm probably the one millennial in the entire American world that has never done any sort of drugs whatsoever.
Well, when you come hang out with Hard Factor, we'll change that, Scott.
Yeah, you're coming to Austin in October, and we're gonna make you smoke. So that's the deal.
But we really
Yeah.
appreciate you being on the show. Is there any parting words or anything you want to plug before we wrap this up?
Ask people to be brave, be bold. If it weren't for me being a weirdo sitting at Cincinnati Airport with a sign on my computer that said, I'm gay, Trump 2020, Democrats don't own me, well, that picture would have never been taken. That would have never gone viral. That would have never had me on your show. And I just wanted to ask people to please go to scottpressler.org. There's one S in Pressler. And follow me at Twitter, Scott Pressler. And thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thanks, Scott. It was
We
great-
appreciate you,
great
Scott.
talking
Thank
with
On me. Well, that picture would have never been taken. That would have never gone viral. That would have never had me on your show. And I just wanted to ask people to please go to scottpressler.org. There's one S in Pressler. And follow me at Twitter, Scott Pressler. And thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thanks, Scott. It was
We
great,
appreciate you,
great
Scott.
talking
Thank
with
you.
you. All right.
Finally, Donald Trump must have gotten his Adderall refill yesterday because he was firing on all cylinders.
Nice.
Better the second time.
Thanks, buddy. And I'm not saying all the things he checked off his to-do list were good per se, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a 73-year-old who was more productive over the last 36 hours.
At least someone got their Adderall refilled.
Not I. That's why I'm off my game. First up, Donald Trump made it clear, and I want to be really clear about this when he was talking to White House reporters, that he would not, I repeat, not cut off aid to Israel.
Whew. I thought that he would.
Yeah, I thought there was a possibility there, but
Yeah.
nope, not
Yeah,
happening.
I mean, he's been wavering on his support of them,
Yeah.
you know.
It's crazy. It was a close call there. He then said he didn't blame Israel for not allowing Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar into the
Oh,
country.
you don't say.
Yeah, because as Trump said, they hate Israel and they hate Jewish people. He followed up that zinger by letting American Jews know what time it is, saying, quote, I think any Jewish people that vote Democrat, I think it shows either a total lack of knowledge or a great disloyalty.
That's such a
Wow.
Wow, you're a bad
It's
Jew if
strong.
you vote Democrat.
Yeah.
It's strong. I think at this point, Trump needs to convert to Judaism, though. If he's going to keep going down this train, like, he's going to have to convert.
He'll do just about anything. Most of today was about posturing for the 2020 election.
Well, most of every day.
Exactly. You're right. And that brings us to our next thing Donald did yesterday. He laid down the law on the recession, saying the media would love to see the recession. I think he's specifically quoting one person in the media, Bill Maher, but whatever. Anyway, he said, quote, "We're very, very far from a recession." Then he verbally finger-banged the nerds at the Fed, saying all this recession talk wouldn't be a problem if the goddamn Fed would just do its goddamn job and cut interest rates. Quick note, the Fed cut interest rates for the first time since 2008, 21 days ago.
So he was right if he'd said it 22 days ago.
Right.
Yeah, that was also after 8 consecutive raises, I believe, since the recession ended. But, basically, people are saying we're headed towards another recession. Trump says if you cut interest rates and I do a payroll tax, maybe we can avoid it. Who knows?
Yeah, but when are you not hearing that we're heading towards a recession, though?
Right. Pretty much, if you're not in a recession,
Correct.
every headline about economics is you're headed towards a recession.
Right. Well, here comes the doom, and then if you're in a recession, it's like, hang on, we'll get out of it. It's
And
I
that's
can almost afford to buy a house again.
Yeah, that's the kind of anxiety I live with every night while trying to go to sleep. Anyway, Trump went on to say that the Fed should behave more like other countries, and then for some reason gave China as an example, who we're currently in a trade war with because of their economic practices.
Other countries that don't have a central banking system?
Well, he also called out Germany and a couple others, but for some reason slipped China in there. I don't know. Anyway, with Jews and the economy put to bed, Trump swung his attention to gun control. He's on fire today, or yesterday. When he was asked to clarify his position about enhanced background checks related to the purchase of firearms, he replied, quote, "We have very, very strong background checks right now. It's a mental problem. I've said it 100 times. It's not the gun that pulls the trigger. It's the person that pulls the
It's
trigger."
those fucking nut jobs.
Yeah.
Interesting. So he's just completely turning his back on what he said like a week ago.
Exactly. Well, yeah, this is
Yeah.
in direct opposition to his comments right after the El Paso Dayton shootings, where he said Republicans and Democrats must come together to get strong background checks. Something good, if not great, must come from these two tragic events. But now nothing. Yeah, not sure what changed. Some think it might have something to do with this tweet from the head of the NRA, Wayne LaPierre, yesterday. Quote, "I spoke to the president today. We discussed the best ways to prevent these types of tragedies." Signed, Wayne LaPierre.
Wayne, baby.
Wayne, yeah. If you win policy over the most powerful person in the world, you don't need to tweet it, bro.
No.
Yeah, just let. Yeah, you don't need to brag about it too.
Wayne usually gets his way.
Exactly.
Yeah, the NRA has the GOP on a fucking leash.
Big time. And finally, the Greenland deal, boys, officially off.
No.
I know.
Is it officially? I mean, he's delayed the meeting. He says he's not going to meet with Denmark anymore.
Well,
Can we
because
buy Iceland then?
Yeah, we can. But Iceland is probably still on the table.
Iceland is less for sale
I
than
mean,
Greenland.
It's
So-
officially, in my
Can we
estimation,
buy
off, Will.
Tahiti for fuck's sake?
I know.
Let's sell Guam and buy.
Hey,
something.
hey, man.
Yeah, we could trade. We could trade with somebody.
We got a lot of Guamanese listeners. Trump tweeted last night that based on Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen's comments,
Nailed it.
yeah, nailed it, that she would have no interest in discussing the purchase of Greenland, so he's postponing the meeting. He then thanked the Prime Minister for being so direct, citing that it saved both countries time and money. Whew. So
That was a firm no.
I know.
Yeah, so he was just going to ride over there to ask about buying Greenland.
Exactly.
Let me save you the trip. It's a no.
Yeah. So at least we don't have to worry about a long, drawn-out negotiation related to the U.S. purchasing a Nordic country, so that's one less thing.
Are we still allowed to travel there, or is that off the table now?
I don't even know. Why would you?
You can go.
That's true.
Yeah.
Why would you?
Yeah, no. We
Good
all,
point about the why would
Yeah,
you.
good
We all learned in the fourth grade you go to Iceland.
Iceland's
Yep.
where you want to be.
And guys, this brought forth a Hall of Fame internet comment from Michael Cordray, the CEO of Yuko Social.
Okay.
Michael went on to say, "Denmark is lucky, all caps. We don't rally up the citizens of Greenland and have them declare independence, then have them request to be annexed by the USA. We've been too nice to little Denmark and its horrible leadership."
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I doubt that could happen. But
Let's wait and see.
I didn't even know Denmark had leadership. I mean, Greenland had leadership, but
right,
yeah.
do you think Greenland's really going to take up the cause? I doubt it. But
No, they don't get internet. It's too cold.
Yeah.
They have no idea what's going on.
And that's
hey,
that.
take us over, guys.
All right. We're going to move on to a little Brexit update, and I'll admit I have not exactly been keeping up with this at all.
Well, what have you been
Well,
doing?
You haven't been on the show for a month,
Well,
so
yeah, I figured newly appointed Prime Minister Boris Johnson, whom you might remember as a complete wild man, some say racist, cheating scoundrel, and has been compared to Donald Trump. Well, I figured he was pretty much having his way with the EU over there, but that's not the case, it seems. No, it seems that yesterday his attempts to negotiate his Brexit deal with the EU were swatted down by EU leaders, kind of like I used to eventually swat down the shot of the kid with the one gimpy arm, but with a killer shot with his good arm, who scored one too many lackadaisical defensive pity baskets during House League basketball. So eventually you got to...
you still remember that kid?
Yep. He was in every league.
Wes was just swatting that
You want
kid.
to just give his first and last name?
Eventually you have to think about the big picture.
Wes made sure that he was never on that kid's team because it's the only chance of looking good on the court.
That's not a
Wes,
foul.
that was the only time he got a block stat.
Yeah,
was
exactly.
when he was playing that kid.
West,
You got that guy. You got that
West
guy.
demanded, West demanded to guard him.
That's 5 in a row. All right. So it
Wes, it's your time to shine. We're playing the Gimpy kid this week.
So it seems the EU is not going to budge on their demand that Boris guarantees peace in Northern Ireland, mainly that the border between Northern Ireland and Ireland be open, a plan the EU leaders are calling a backstop, a plan that Boris Johnson had demanded be thrown out on Monday. So the open door policy was a key factor in the 1998 Good Friday Agreement, which stopped years of violence between different sects of people there. So the EU is not going to budge on that. Okay. So they responded by saying, nope, Boris, we will not budge. But again, Boris Johnson has promised that the UK will Brexit by November 1st, no matter what.
And we can bet on that, can't we?
Yes, we can.
All right.
So
You can, but Boris Johnson, he's all over the place. One day he's saying Brexit no matter what. The next day he's begging people in the EU to give him deals. I mean, he seems like just as shitty at the job as Theresa May was.
Yeah, but he's more of a wild man, and he's promised that he's going to do it.
Well, yeah, sure, more pizzazz, more flair, but the same results.
Right. So you can bet on this. If you go to predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20, you'll get your free $20 match and lay down some money that yes, Brexit will happen by November 1st. Current prices or no, you can bet no. I'm going to get into that. So current prices as of this show were 58 cents. Yes, which is a great price. Just a month ago, the price was only 34 cents. So if you throw $1,000,
Johnson's amping it up,
or
Johnson's moving
$500, you'll make some nice coin. And as your Brexit expert, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that either Boris will get the deal done and appease the EU and Brexit nicely, or Brexit anyway with no deal.
Well, you also are backing it up with your money because you just made a bet today on it.
I have hundreds of dollars. I moved the price up a few cents.
You moved the line?
I moved the line up. Also, the Democratic nominee to face President Trump in 2020, those odds are getting very interesting. Currently, PredictIt has Elizabeth Warren as the front runner, with her stock costing just 31 cents a share. It might have gone up since this. Joe Biden is right behind with 27 cents a share. And my long shot pick, Andrew Yang, is at 10 cents a share. So if you get in right now using our code, once again, predictit.org/promo hardfactor20, lay $1,000 on Yang.
850
is the max.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm talking to you, Yang Gang. You could be sitting pretty in 2021. You won't need any of Yang's.
Could you imagine Liz Warren getting the Democratic nomination?
There's no chance.
It's not going to happen.
Will wants to bet no on her so hard, but he's too scared.
I want to fade her, but I think the Democrats may elect her. I mean, who knows?
He's too scared.
Yeah.
All right.
Who knows? All right,
It's
we got to
Bernie
move it over.
her, But yeah, whatever. If it's
We got to move it over to Italy, guys. We're taking a trip back to Italia again. After yesterday, we had the no confidence vote that was coming up on Tuesday, as we covered on yesterday's show. But in a preemptive move, Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte resigned prior to having the no confidence vote taken against
He's
him.
got no confidence in himself.
He said, "You're not firing me.
Yeah.
I quit."
Exactly.
That's exactly it. Both of those, no confidence, and he quit. So basically, that ends the reign of his super right wing party, and it won some people some PredictIt money because I gave that hot tip on yesterday's show. So if you got the bet in quick enough, you are now richer.
Giuseppe was the guy they were saying was the second coming of
Mussolini.
No. That's it. He's still in. That guy's still in the race.
Great.
Next guy.
Cool.
Don't worry, he's coming up. Now, Italy is faced with either replacing Conte from within the existing parliament or holding new elections where Matteo Salvini, that's your guy, Pat, is waiting and licking his lips at the chance to be voted in as prime minister. So it's the choice of the president, Sergio Mattarella, if they're going to just pick new PMs and stuff out of the existing parliament, or if they're going to dissolve parliament and have a new vote.
That's the cannoli party that's coming into power.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I
Come
forget
on
the
with
name
those
of
jokes.
Salvini's party, but he's the
Come
next
on.
Mussolini guy. And in related news, Italy's right-wing interior minister, Matteo Salvini, yep, the same guy, is denying entrance to African migrants off the Italian coast. And the situation has migrants abandoning ship and needing rescue by the Italian Coast Guard as they jump overboard and try to swim to land because they're not being allowed entry at a port. Spain says they're going to send ships to help the migrants. So that's Salvini's, he's super anti-migrant.
Have you seen those boats that have been crossing the Mediterranean Sea? It's been a story the past couple of years. They're like 300 people on a boat that's supposed to have like 50 people or less. They're crazy. Some of those boats just go down and they all drown. It's really sad.
Yeah, Salvini says, no, you're not welcome. And now they're just jumping in the water.
Ooh.
So anyways, shout out to listener Enrico. He cleared up that Parliament dissolving would be what we said today, which is just electing a new parliament, not what we thought yesterday, which was just the Italian government completely fading away into nothing.
What does a guy named Enrico know about Italy,
Say his last name again?
I didn't write it down, but he's Italian.
It was like Passarelli, so that's what it is. All right, let me take you to the chemistry corner for a few minutes. Texas may have accidentally decriminalized marijuana statewide, something most parts of Texas outside of Austin are probably furious about. So earlier this year, the state of Texas passed HB 1325, a bill that legalized the production of hemp and thus products containing CBD, with a vote of 140-3 on May 22nd. So that passed pretty easily. Then on June 10th, Governor Abbott signed the bill into law, effective immediately on June 10th. So the bill certainly did not intend to allow for the sale or possession of actual marijuana. One section of the bill, in fact, specifically directs the Texas Department of Agriculture to draft regulations to ensure that illegal marijuana is not transported into or through the state disguised as legal hemp. That makes sense. It's Texas, right? So the bill clearly states...
Did they consider it's the same plant?
Well, there you go. The bill clearly states that's the problem. Well, the bill clearly states the only way to differentiate between hemp and marijuana is by percentage of THC, the psychoactive compound in weed. The statute defines anything with a THC concentration of less than 0.3% as hemp and anything with THC greater than 0.3% as weed. And therein lies the rub, as the state of Texas crime labs are currently incapable of testing the potency of drugs seized by police with the necessary degree of precision. So they can't even say how much THC is in this.
They tricked us.
Yeah, and people with this knowledge or just being savvy criminals have been telling police that the weed they are carrying is actually just harmless hemp. And with no way of testing that out, the police and prosecutors in several counties have begun dismissing hundreds of weed-related charges. So you can just freely carry your weed around and tell people it's hemp, which is awesome.
Nice. Good loophole.
Yeah, the Texas Department of Public Safety troopers are now issuing citations instead of making arrests because they know they're fucked. But
just give it up for crying out loud.
Exactly.
Texas.
Well, you think so, but not the prosecutors in Tarrant County, the state's third largest county. They're saying that they'll be able to refile a case if they get lab results on samples within 2 years of seizure. So that means that sounds like a reasonable thing to do. They're going to hold on to these ounces of weed, wait on the lab equipment to come in the next 2 years, test them, and then go arrest those punk kids.
The retro, because they don't have enough court cases.
Right, they don't have to, like the rapes and the murders, right? So fuck off, Tarrant County. You just talked your way into the soft corner. In other chemistry corner news, in the first ruling of its kind, a Mexican judge has granted 2 people the right to recreational cocaine use.
Oh, yeah.
The court stated it will.
Where?
Yeah, the court stated it
Is it
in
for
Mexico.
stress?
The court stated it will allow the claimants to possess, transport, and use the cocaine, but not to sell it. The decision must be reviewed by a higher court before it is enforced. I imagine basically any other court is higher than where this ruling came from.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it for Hard Factor. Thank you so much for listening and supporting us as always. We fucking love the support. We can't get enough of it, so please keep spreading the word. Tomorrow night we have the super entertaining and funny, or tomorrow's show, I should say, we have the super entertaining and funny Donnie the Wonton Don on to explain what the hell China and discuss what is going on with the Hong Kong protests since he lives in China. Also, please RSVP for our September 4th live power hour at the Eastside Tavern in Austin, Texas. The RSVP is getting pretty full. We will send out a link again tomorrow on Twitter and maybe Instagram, and PFT should be doing that soon too on his. But if you don't RSVP, definitely still show up on the 4th, as we will make room for you as long as you're willing to drink and laugh. Also, you have about 3 more days to buy the Soft Corner t-shirt before it vanishes forever. And anyone that shows up on September 4th with a Soft Corner shirt or anywhere in general, we will personally buy you a drink if you're wearing a Soft Corner shirt.
Yeah, we got to buy these shirts very quickly, because if we don't sell a shitload of them in the first week, they're gone forever.
Yeah.
And this shirt has sold almost none after a couple days. So
go ahead and
if you don't buy it now, you're never going to get
go
it.
ahead and
It's an
stop
amazing
what
shirt.
you're doing right now. Stop what you're doing. Spend 2 minutes. Buy the shirt. And when you're done that, make sure, most importantly, you have a great
We will
fucking
all
day.
buy you a beer if we see you wearing the shirt, by the way.
Well, you stepped on the... And most importantly, have a great fucking day.